Now you have a rivalry here. Angel Reese wants to be Draymond Green, but there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball.
After much speculation, ESPN has officially disclosed Angel Reese's future plans. It's reasonable to say that things aren't going as well as planned for her maiden WNBA season, or perhaps her first season of crying. Let me be clear now, before anyone feels that I'm being overly critical. There's no denying Angel Reese's exceptional basketball ability. But what could have been a good start was unfortunately ruined by all that drama, the never-ending complaints, and hiding behind the race card. Her whole performance has now been dissected by ESPN analysts, and their astounding future projections for her are revealed. Well, I wasn't all that surprised, but how carefully you've been following this will determine how startling it is to you. Let's not act as though Reese was a complete failure. She wasn't. On the surface, her stats --11.5 points and 9.2 rebounds per game sound reasonable, even solid. The really bad news is this: the complete story isn't being told by those stats. She was undoubtedly contributing on the court, but there's a difference between adding points to your numbers and genuinely having an effect. To be honest, I believe that her first priority should be only completing the rim. Perhaps her rebounds will be cut in half for that. She will still have a significant influence, though. Reese's shooting raises the most questions. Yes. It wasn't the best hole to put the ball in the basket. For someone who spends most of their time near the rim, her 39% field percentage is a little embarrassing. In particular, when you have players like Caitlin Clark, who can casually sink shots from 3 counties away and still be more efficient. While Reese was missing crucial shots, at least she was able to grab her own rebounds. After all, there's nothing more obvious than missing your own shot and then quickly grabbing it again, don't you think? Angel Reese fired 90% of her shots came from within 8 feet, with 39% coming from the field. Let's be clear about something before we discuss rebounds. Reese is able to recover. With 9.2 points per game, she led all rookies, which seems impressive until you know that many of those were the result of her own misses when she played fetch with herself. While you may be taking action, is it truly benefiting your team? The double-doubles appeared impressive on the stat sheet, but opponents quickly pointed out that they weren't exactly game-changing, more akin to inflated statistics due to missed opportunities. Well, who's counting really? Yes, ESPN is correct. The analysts thoroughly enjoyed analyzing the concept of self-rebounding. It evolved into this strange basketball meme. Angel Reese, the queen of tidying up her own mess to boost her own numbers. Her double-doubles were being celebrated by her fans, but by experts. They were brow-raising a little bit and wondering again how many of those rebounds came from her own misses. It's the kind of thing that seems spectacular at first, but as you take the layers off, you reveal a mess. In the meantime, Caitlin Clark is putting on incredibly effective triple-doubles. Furthermore, Reese's figures appear somewhat flimsy in contrast. How about her double-doubles? The team wasn't being carried by them. The major games were not going their way. And when she kind of failed in those high-stakes matches, everyone had even more reason to doubt her future when she collapsed. Her attendance and ratings are another factor. On and off the court, Angel Reese exudes confidence at all times. The woman claims she was the reason people were tuned in as she strode in with a megaphone, not just walking into the WNBA. Here's the problem, though. The numbers, those pesky little things tell a completely different tale than reality, which had other ideas. It turns out that an extremely strange occurrence occurred when Reese was recovering from a wrist injury. The number of attendees increased. Yes, it is correct. While Reese was lounging on the bench, WNBA fans began to arrive in droves. Which, to put it another way, doesn't exactly shout people are here for me, does it now? The WNBA has existed for a few decades. Even if people weren't aware of the game before, they are now. Obviously, that's due to. Due to that wrist injury, Reese missed a significant number of games towards the end of the season. Now, because one of the greatest names in the league is out, as she asserts, you would think that ticket sales would slightly decline. False. Actually, the complete opposite took place. August 17th's game versus the Connecticut Sun saw a surge in attendance of 9,300, which was 11% more than the previous home game. Not everyone was only there for Reese at the beginning. Yes, that is where it ends. That was a whole other thing when Caitlin missed games following her elimination. In essence, the league was crying into its ratings report. The number of attendees dropped. Watchership of TV declined. In essence, it appeared as though someone briefly stole the enjoyment from basketball. When Clark was not in the game in late August, TV ratings fell by 18%. Here, a calculator is not necessary to understand the difference. When Clark is absent, people take note. However, Reese, not in that way. That must hurt a little bit. Reese is currently in an unpleasant situation where her whole "I'm the reason you're here" story is beginning to fall apart. And like a dog with a bone, the media jumped on this. All are beginning to ask the obvious questions. Was Reese a bit, shall we say, overconfident? Her debut season was hardly a statistical spectacular. And as of right now, not even the attendance figures support her claim to be a superstar. Angel Reese, entertaining A. Club that finished 13-27, failed to make the playoffs, and had their coach sacked. Additionally, an injury kept her out of the final 6 games of the season. Playing every game, Caitlin Clark leads the Indiana Fever to its best record since 2015. She also leads the league in assists and averages nearly 20 points per game. The contrast between the two inexperienced players have turned into inescapable. To put it mildly, they're not doing Reese any favors. Reese finds herself in an awkward situation where her boldness doesn't exactly match the results, while Clark has emerged as the WNBA's new love interest. There is a lot of pressure on her this season. If she wants to change the story, she will need to perform better on the court. The buzz isn't enough right now. She must demonstrate her claims with genuine, game-changing performances. Is she capable of it? We'll have to wait and see. Currently, though, Reese seems to be talking a little louder than she is playing. Moreover, the figures are truthful. Essentially, she showed disdain for the official. The official response to this was that, here's even another explanation. The story of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. What was once a rivalry has swiftly evolved into a negative spotlight on Reese's performance. To be honest, it hasn't helped her at all. Entering the WNBA, Caitlin Clark smashed a few records, guided her team to the postseason, and seemingly overnight, she emerged as the league's next great star. In the interim, Reese, yes, she had her moments, but they were not so much pyrotechnics as sparks. Reese was kind of there, but Clark was out there leading her team and dropping stats. Compared to Clark's crazy season, she made the all-rookie team, but still, it's Angel Reese who is evil. The hero is Caitlin Clark. And by being evicted last night, Angel Reese continued to contribute to it. Additionally, it nearly seems prearranged. The WNBA would love this. She is the center of attention. It is she who is addressing the reporters, saying, "It's important for you all to know that the two of us have altered the landscape of women's basketball, nor is it limited to Caitlin Clark. That happened in the national championship game 2 years ago, and I was there." And from this point forward, things will stay that way. It's kind of adorable. She is not my opinion. Although Caitlin Clark is a lot more prominent than Angel Reese, I appreciate that she's now open to taking on more of the antagonist role. She is then eliminated from the game herself. Naturally, this dynamic has caused a rift among the fans. In typical Reese form, he chose to accept his role as the antagonist in this conflict. Except in the end, she appeared like a beggar rather than this strong competitor. Furthermore, it doesn't exactly look well when you're up against Clark, who exudes humility and hard effort. Reese attempted to make fun of Clark, but it's difficult to prevail in a fight when your opponent is too preoccupied with setting records to notice your slight. Angel Reese remarked she'll be the bad guy. Kennedy Carter, undoubtedly. Sex that as well. Chad, immediately following our discussion on Angel Reese, the antagonist of the narrative, and the scheme that draws attention to Caitlin Clark's merchandise while she tours the WNBA. For the first time in her WNBA career, she is ejected. And no, Reese didn't stop at the villain aspect. Additionally, she attempted to play the victim, lamenting unfair criticism and injustice in the media, and even labeling Caitlin and her supporters as racist. The truth is, though, WNBA fans are devoted. They enjoy a good underdog tale, but they also root for athletes who take responsibility for their errors and improve. Reese waving his finger all the time, it is becoming stale. Fans aren't getting into her woe is me act when her on-court performances don't match her rookie season, which wasn't exactly stellar. But you have to appreciate the irony. Now that she's fully committed to playing the villain in the league, Reese finds herself in a difficult situation. It's all well and well to be the bad guy, but it really only works when you're winning. Playing the villain role requires dominance akin to that of LeBron James, or at the very least, the ability to frighten some opponents. While Clark is gaining over fans with her drama-free, uncluttered, just-let-me-play style, Reese is stuck attempting to persuade everyone that she's being treated unfairly. The worst part is that this rivalry, which Reese could have used as an opportunity to excel, is having the exact opposite effect. It's coming back to haunt her. It's revealing every weakness in her armor rather than improving her game. Over here, Clark is reaping the benefits of sponsorship deals, media attention, and general fan devotion, whereas Reese is facing bad press and limited prospects. Her brand is struggling, and marketability is crucial in a league that is expanding quickly. Reese's never-ending drama, not precisely what big-name brands are searching for. They are looking for a relatable, successful person. Reese is currently having difficulty meeting expectations on both fronts. The scoreboard doesn't lie at the end of the day, and Reese is currently far behind. She will continue to be exposed by this rivalry unless she makes a significant change in her behavior. Nothing to do, just talk. Clark, in the meantime, will be content to sit back and let her game speak for her as Reese works to change the story before it's too late.